Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of Albion's Legacy.
The very first episode was pretty much error-free, but this was because I only did one turn. But one correction I definitely have to make is that this locked horse symbol has to go not on the Stables realm tile, but instead
on the mount deck here. But before I do that, I have to discard the very first card from the mount deck because I forgot the special ability of Key Trash that triggers doing the so-called key turn. And this says discard one mount card from the mount deck. And yeah, Key Trash is an undead. And here we had to discard the Warhorse, which would provide you +2 movement, and you may discard this card to avoid taking a wound token. Well, that's definitely an awesome card, but unfortunately this is out of the game entirely, though to be clear, discarding a card in this game really means removing it from the game. I believe I'm also using the wrong key turn token, and I said it or I mentioned it in my video or maybe in the comments that I really was overwhelmed with all the tokens in this game, and I believe this one should be the right token. If not, please make me aware. But to be honest, it really doesn't make any difference. It's just for me to remember who is the actual starting player. And in this case, the next round will be started by Sir Dagonet the Brave, who's currently to the southwest of Camelot next to the docks, and I think I will move him closer to this enemy here, which would be the Unholy Knight, or better, the Unholy Sentry, but the Sentry still counts as a knight. The good thing about knights is that you can battle them with an attribute of choice, but they're always named, so you always have to have at least 4 successes in order to defeat them. So I guess for his very first action, or for his very first movement, he will move here to this realm tile, looked one lease, and again I do apologize if I don't pronounce the Gaelic language. And the first thing that would now happen is we have to trigger that fight here against the Unholy One, and I guess Sir Dagonet has to face him either with loyalty or with prowess, and as it is a fight, I think I will go with prowess here, and this allows me to roll 5 of those stones of chance. If I would have moved the queen to this encounter here, we would, let's say, get use of her favorite enemy ability, which says roll 1 additional stone of chance when challenging knights and Saxons. Unfortunately, she's all up there in the north, and I think this really doesn't make sense to wait for her until she gets back just because of rolling 1 additional die. So let's roll the die, and we are looking for those symbols or those symbols here. These are only 2 successes. So theoretically I fail this test now, but not so fast. I can still do some decisions on how to, let's say, improve my result. For once, I could give away one of those destiny token, which would allow me to reroll one of those failed dice. And additionally, I would be allowed to name an additional symbol which would be a success. So I would increase my chance to 50%. So it's now a 4 to 6 basically. So not just this one and this mana burn stuff here or burst stuff here. I could also say the movement symbol would also be a success. The problem is with this, I still need 2 successes because overall I need 4 successes and I only rolled 2. So I would really have to hope for a 6 to happen here, though, this mana burst. The next thing I could do is to take a wound. And as I mentioned, as soon as you're taking the second wound, you're out of the game. So this is something I should not do at this point in time. Luckily, I still have 2 of my starting items here, and we have an armor and a weapon here, and this says Mystic Ropes. You may break this card to avoid taking a wound token. Breaking in this case means you would just flip it to the other side or flip it face down, whatever you prefer, and then you don't have to take a wound. And I think this is what I will do, and this would let me reroll all of that dice. And the fight usually lasts until either one of us is dead. So Dagonet or the Unholy Sentry here. So let's just reroll our dice. And again, we are not doing pretty good. This was no success. So I guess I will break my weapon as well. So I will roll again. And this time, yeah, close. This is enough. This is a success. This is a success. These are 2 successes. Enough to defeat the Unholy Sentry here. As this was the only token on this card, basically I defeated the overall card, which means we just gained our second quest token. And now I could decide if I want to keep this token. Remember, when I collect 8 of those tokens overall and bring them back to the dungeon, I would gain another quest token. Or I could do a so-called spoil straw. But with humility ability here, which I got from this virtue plague, I think I will really do a spoil straw, but I would be entitled to a spoil straw, but now I could instead gain 1 destiny token and 1 quest token. Unfortunately, I already have all of my destiny tokens, but I can still go for a 3rd quest token, and we need 9 of them before we would be able to win this scenario. So we are already 1/3 through the game, at least for part 1 of our goal. Awesome. So Dagonet is pretty beaten up, but I think I will continue to scout. Yes, this is what I will do. I still have 3 more movement points, so I think I will scout towards this direction here. And what do we have here? Oh, that's okay-ish, because this tile, the Twin Rivers Clan, has this nice little boat icon here, which makes it adjacent to the docks. Unfortunately, again, those 2 locations are not too far away, which is kind of a pity here. Yeah, it really is. But there's not much I can do. And I think I will move to this newly scouted tile with my second movement. I think I will continue scouting here to the south. And here we have the Bridderoffen. I really don't know how to pronounce that correctly. I will place it here. And as you can see, we have another threat card to spawn. So let's do that now. And here we have Waylaid by Saxon. Spawn 1d6 Saxon tokens on Silver Realm times. They would move aggressively, but they don't have any special ability. So let's see what we roll. That's a 3. Not too bad, actually. And unfortunately, Sir Dagonet has most of the silver tiles around him, so I have to place them accordingly. So 1 goes here, 1 goes there, and another, or the last one, has to go here. As they would move aggressively, I think I explained that they will always move towards the closest hero. You can fight a Saxon with prowess or altruism, and I think that's okay for Sir Dagonet, as he rolls 5 of those dice. So I think he will try to get rid of the first one here. So he has to spend his 3rd movement point to move to this space. And again, we have to roll some actual dice. This time we only need 3 successes. So again, here are his 5 battle dice, and we are looking again for those access prowess basically. Yeah, that's enough. Here's 1. Here are 2 more. Definitely enough to kill the first Saxon, which we just place on his character card. So for once, this Saxon token is basically out of the game. So as soon as we have more than enough Saxon tokens, we might not be able to spawn additional ones. This could be a good one. But again, if we would happen to have 8 of those enemy tokens, and this goes over all the characters, we should bring them back to the dungeon in order to claim a reward. I think with the last movement point, I will move him up here to the Gwynevere clan, because my idea is to try to send him here to the barracks in order to get a new weapon. In most cases it really doesn't make sense to really repair your starting gear. This is really something, get rid of them as soon as possible and draw some new stuff, because the stuff that you are drawing from the armory deck or from the armor deck is definitely much more powerful than your starting items. Before we move on, one thing I nearly forgot: we have now collected 1 quest coin per player. This means I'm allowed to remove this lock token here. So as of now, we are allowed to gain a mount card, which is definitely a nice thing. And I guess this would be a good time for Balin to go after Gytrash here. So he will move 1, 2, 3 spaces here to the stables, and there we have to find Gytrash, who happens to be a undead creature, which we can fight with loyalty or altruism, and that shouldn't be a big of a deal for Sir Balin. But again, we have to roll 4 successes, and this would be a named creature. Again, we will roll 5 dice, and this time we are looking for, let's use the crown symbols. Yeah, the loyalty value. Yeah, we don't need to roll any actual crown symbols. These 2 mana burst icons provide us 4 successes, definitely enough to send Gytrash back to the hell where he came from. Awesome. Again, this was the last enemy on this card here, which means we just gained our 4th quest coin. And I guess instead of keeping Gytrash, I think I will do a spoils draw now, and I'm thinking of drawing a relic card from the deck. And here we have Horn of Thor. When you draw an encounter card, roll a stone of chance on a movement icon or mana burst. You may choose to discard the card immediately, ignoring its effect. This is of course awesome. And those relic cards in most cases go here to the special slot of the character card. In this case, of course, for Sir Balin. Nice draw, that's for sure. Sir Balin still has 1 more movement point left, but I think he will end his movement here, and he will do that on the stables card, which means he would be entitled to draw a mount card. And here we have a riding horse, which also grants him +2 movement, but again, my turn is over, so I cannot spend them right away. Once per key turn, during your turn, you may ignore the effect of an encounter tile. That's pretty okay, but I think this is really double the effect because of my Horn of Thor. So with this riding horse, I could completely ignore to draw a card from the encounter tile. So I think it could be worth thinking of giving this horn to another player as soon as we are on the same realm time. But for now, I think that's definitely a good draw, as the horse still provides me +2 movement. Okay, let's continue with the queen, and she will do a scout action, and she has to do that into that direction. And here we have Terre Desert, another roaming threat card, which we would have to draw. And here we have None Shall Pass. Spawn the Black Knight token on the drawbridge tile, which is definitely not a good thing. And it says, when the Black Knight is defeated, he returns to the drawbridge during the key turn, unless a character or characters spend a total of 2 destiny tokens to prevent his return. As long as the Black Knight is in play, the top virtue plaque is discarded during each key turn. This is definitely not a good thing, and of course the Black Knight counts as a knight. So here we have the Black Knight guarding the drawbridge, and I'm not sure when I am allowed to spend those destiny tokens. During the key turn, he would let's say, reappear at the drawbridge, and then I could spend those 2 destiny tokens. Yeah, I think that's the case. So for now I will keep him here, and I'm really thinking of getting rid of him as soon as possible, and that's because the queen is nearby, and as I already showed you, knights are one of her favorite enemies, so she would be allowed to roll 6 dice against the Black Knight, and I think this is what she will absolutely do. So Gwynevere will move 1, 2, 3 spaces here to the drawbridge, and I guess there she will use her altruism, this is this symbol here, to try to defeat the Black Knight. Again, she's looking for 4 successes, but she's allowed to roll 6 dice, which is definitely a good thing. So let's see, yeah, these are 2 and these are 2 more, way enough to defeat the Black Knight. For now we will put him on the card, and during the key turn we would be allowed to move him back if we are not spending 2 destiny tokens, which shouldn't be a problem as we are still doing pretty good in respect to those destiny tokens. The queen still has 2 more movement points left, 1 more movement point left, sorry, and I think she will spend her last action point to move here to the Bailey. And the idea is to escort or get the first escort tokens in order to escort him to Mount Badonicus up there. Then it's again Sir Dagonet who still holds the key turn marker, and for him it will be a pretty short turn, so he will use this boat symbol here to move 1 space to the docks, and then he will spend additional movement point to end his movement or his turn here at the barracks, which would allow him to draw an armor card, and here he just drew a crossbow. You may break this card to avoid taking a wound. That's pretty much the same to what all your starting items allow you to do, but there are still some additional special abilities. During your turn you may challenge an adjacent enemy token along a path. If you fail the challenge, you do not take a wound token, and you may not enter that tile or use this effect again until your next turn, which is definitely a great way to try to engage an enemy that might seem a little bit too powerful. Awesome, let's take it, and we will replace the Dane axe here, which will be removed from the game. It was broken anyway, and we would have a crossbow, which is fully repaired and ready to use. Awesome. Then we would have the key turn, which means the tokens will move, and those guys are aggressive, so they will all move 1 realm tile closer to our heroes. And now the Black Knight would return unless we are spending 2 destiny tokens, and I think both of them will come from Sir Dagonet, as all the other characters can use the destiny tokens to trigger their special ability, and that's not the case for him, which is definitely important enough to not spend it right now. And now we consider this Black Knight defeated, and this was the last token on the card. At least this is how I understand that this card is being resolved. So now we would gain our 5th quest token, and I guess the queen will do a spoil straw as well, which also means she will draw an item card, and this is Hazel and Honeysuckle. You may discard this card to ignore any one doom effect. This is okay because those doom effects normally are getting triggered by the encounter cards. I was hoping for something cooler, but I won't complain. I will just take it and place it on the special slot of Queen Gwynevere. And of course, last but not least, I have to place one of those despair tokens. Let's move the key turn marker to Sir Balin. And I just noticed that there is no pathway. I saw this little symbol here and I really thought this would be a pathway, but this is not allowed. And I think I did a similar mistake with the docks. So the docks are not directly connected to the barracks here. I have to go through the hallway, but all of the characters did have more than enough movement points left. So I think I did not do any major mistake here, but I really have to pay attention. I think I will make use of the riding horse of Sir Balin. Instead of the queen, I think I will move him 1-2 spaces here to the round table, and I will take one of those tokens here, which I will place on his character card accordingly. Each of the knights is only allowed to carry one of those escort tokens. Definitely important. I think there is a card in play which allows you to increase that to 2, but right now that's not the case. But Sir Balin still has 4 more movement points left because of his horse, so that would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or maybe let's go here. I think I will move 1-2 spaces here to the place where Gwynevere is, and I think I will give her the Horn of Thor, because with a horse I can completely ignore the encounter tile once per key turn. And then let's spend 1-2 more movement points to move up to the north. And again, the idea is to place one of our escort tokens here at Mount Badonicus. Let's come to the queen, and I think she will just spend all her turn moving 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there she will prepare to fight the Saxon here. We have to get rid of them for once we are getting a quest token, and of course it's always a risk to have them running around the castle, because here is a whole pile of escort tokens, and if they manage to go there by any way, then yeah, we would immediately lose the game. I think we will use the crossbow with Sir Dagonet, so he will move 1-2 spaces here to the docks. This time I made it right. Noticed. And with the crossbow he will try to defeat the Saxon here. Definitely a cool thing. I'm allowed to use it once per key turn, and this should be sufficient. And again, we will go for prowess for Sir Dagonet. Yeah, that's the case. We are looking for 3 successes. They're not named enemies, but we are still allowed to roll 5 dice, so let's hope for the best. These are 2 symbols. Okay, I think I more or less failed this test here. I still could decide to use a quest, a destiny token, but I think I will not, because he's down to only 1. But I just noticed something. Oh, he also rolls 1 additional die because these are one of his favorite enemies. So maybe we will be able to defeat him. So let's roll 1 additional die, and we are looking only for this one or an axe, and then we would be able to finish the Saxon off. No, unfortunately we are not. So I think we will not, or we are not allowed to enter this tile here, but I could still use the docks here. I still have 1 more movement point, or 2 more movement points left. 1 and 2, and yeah, let's do that. Why not? Let's move him down to the docks, and then 1 space further down to the south. So from the next turn on, we would be able to scout into another direction. I think this is overall not a bad turn for him, but of course it would be much cooler if we would be able to defeat the Saxon. Then it's Sir Balin again, and I think before we will deliver our quest token, I'm really hoping for 1 additional blue tile. I think that's important. Let's do that. So 1, 2, 3 movement points, and I think I will scout towards this direction there. And here we have Mount Agnet, which happens to have another threat card. And here we have some white dragons. Spawn 1d6 dragon tokens on red realm tiles. Let's see. Again, a 1. This time I'm really doing much better in respect to my die rolling, that's for sure. And I think I will place this dragon token here, and I still have one more movement point left, and this will make me move here to Mount Agnet. I have to be careful, because if I would take a wound token while escorting one of these escort tokens, I would lose this token. So this is definitely something I don't want to do. And you fight dragons either with prowess or altruism, and he has an altruism of 5. We are looking for 3 successes. So again, we are looking for those victory symbols here. Let's hope for the best. This time we were definitely not successful. We only rolled 1 success. So in this case, I will break my padded vest, which would let me re-roll all of the dice. Let's keep on fighting. Yeah, and this is perfect. 2, 4, 6 successes. So we practically slaughtered this dragon here. And luckily, this was the only token on the game board. We are really pretty lucky. And again, we defeated this card. And so we just got our 6 quest coin. And I think we will keep this dragon token, but we don't have much choice anyway. Because we don't gain any spoils draw for a general threat card. Nevertheless, pretty cool turn for Sir Balin. Now we have our next key turn. So this stalker will move to the queen, and this is not a stalker, this Saxon, and this Saxon will move closer to Sir Dagonet down there, and that's basically it. Last thing to do is to place another despair token. Then we move the key turn token to the green, and I think I will do one more round today. Let's move on. First thing that happens is the queen, and she has to fight the Saxon there, and she also does it with altruism, which is this symbol here. She's looking for 3 successes. Let's see. Yeah, these are 4 successes. Definitely enough to get rid of this token. And this is already her second enemy token. And keep in mind, not all of those 8 tokens have to come from one single character. As soon as we have 8 of those enemy tokens in the dungeon, and you will mark them down with this lockdown symbol here, you are able to trade them in for 1 quest token. We still need to find some more quest locations or quest relevant locations. So I will move the queen down here to Sallyport, then to the keep, and then we will continue scouting, and I think we will do that towards this direction here. Let's see what we've drawn, and here we have Zeta Mounts, and yeah, let's put it that way. And as you can see, this is another threat tile. And here we have another severe threat, the Lady Bertilac. Spawn the Bertilac token on the Valley of No Return tile. This is something I have to get from the special deck. And we also have to spawn 3 witch tokens on Green Realm tiles. So in this case we have to get rid of 4 tokens in order to claim this card. And the special ability says when a character enters any tile adjacent to Lady Bertilac, they must pass a loyalty 3 challenge or become seduced. And as long as I'm seduced, I'm no longer able to breaking some of my inventory cards, so I'm not allowed to avoid any wounds, which is definitely a bad thing. But she still has this hazel and honeysuckle, and I may discard this card to ignore any doom effect. But for now, I'm still okay. Let's spawn some enemies first. And here we have the Valley of No Returns, and I absolutely like the artwork in this game. The overall theme and everything, it's so deep and rich. I absolutely love it. This one will go to any of the regions. You will see that on the back side. And again, I did not scout this card, so I don't have to trigger this effect here. And I think I will spawn Lady Bertilac tile here. So let's bring out the token for Lady Bertilac. And the good thing is I didn't enter this tile here, which is adjacent. I already was there, so I don't have to trigger this special roll here, which is definitely a very cool situation. Nevertheless, I still have to spawn 3 witch tokens on Korean realm tiles. And unfortunately, I don't have enough of those tiles. So one has to go here, another one there, and the last one has to go to a hallway. And I think I will do that here. You could now think, wow, that's so dangerous. The witch could go here to this one. But keep in mind, they will always move towards the closest hero and never towards any of those Asker tokens. Only if I would be stupid enough to, for example, end my movement here and this tile only has the direction moving here, then this would be some kind of a bad situation for me. But in this case, the witch will move towards my direction down there. The queen still has 2 more movement points left, and I think she will move here to Bertilak with her 3rd movement point. There we would have to roll some dice, and again we will go for altruism, but this time we are looking for 4 successes. So let's see and hope for the best again. Wow, that's definitely enough to get rid of Lady Bertilak herself. Unfortunately, there are still more of those tokens on the board, so I'm not allowed to claim that card yet, but nevertheless I'm allowed to keep that token. And I think with the last movement point, instead of keep on scouting, I think I will want to keep out this token here first, so I will move here to keep Bertilak here as well. Okay, originally I really thought of scouting, but the witch is nearby, which could bring us an additional quest coin anytime soon as the queen gets rid of her witch token, and the Dagonet still has the crossbow. The problem is he's only allowed to roll 4 dice, because either courage or altruism he only provides 4 stones of chance, so this could be some kind of a risk. But yeah, let's do that. Let's roll 4 dice. So we'll use our crossbow, and we are looking for those Caesarean whatever things. 1 success, 2 and 3. Awesome, we made it. That was perfect. So we got rid of this witch, which we can claim as a trophy, and now I think I will try to get rid of this Saxon here as well. So I will move 1-2 spaces up north, and there we have to challenge the Saxon. And versus Saxons, he's allowed to roll 1 more die, and we are using prowess. So where is it? Yeah, this one here. And again, we are looking for 3 successes. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. This Saxon is toast. So for once we are allowed to keep it. And this also means we got rid of the last Saxon on this threat card. And this means we just got our 7th token. Awesome. So Dagonet still has 2 more movement points left, and we have 1 exit there. So I'm really thinking of scouting from here. Yeah, this is what I will do. And here we would have a road. Okay, that's not a problem. We can place it like this. And the road says when you enter it once during your turn, you have to draw an encounter card. And as I still have 1 more movement point left, so I think I will move there. Now we would have some kind of an interrupt. And so let's draw our first encounter card, which says, call home. You are summoned back to the round table. Immediately return there and end your turn. Gain 1 destiny token. Okay, this is not what I was hoping for, but we have to do it anywhere. And it could be worse, because Sir Dagonet the Braves gets 1 additional destiny token. This is definitely a good thing. Let's move over to Sir Balin, who is north to the drawbridge, and I think he will keep on scouting. What do we have here? Here we have Cameliad, and I believe this is definitely a quest tile. So for once, this is one additional location where we could place an actual escort token. Yep, that's right. And it's also the personal quest location of our Queen Gwynevere here. This is awesome. This is really awesome. We should definitely have to get there. So let's place the quest token here. And I just noticed something, and this is really embarrassing. Because we already found the personal quest tile of Sir Dagonet, Keep Birchy-like. I even zoomed in during the last round basically. And it's actually not too far from where he is. So I think he could really try to get there. Yeah, I think he should be. He should be able to get there during the next turn and maybe try to fulfill his personal quest. I think we will move Sir Balin here to this tile. This was his very first movement, and I think he will keep on scouting up north, and I think he will do that in this direction. And what do we have here? Here we have Sir Gwynedd, we have Gwynedd, and this has the haste symbol on it, and as soon as you walk on it, all of the enemy tokens on the board will immediately move. And to be honest, I don't think that this is actually a very bad thing. It can be. No, I think I will not go there right now. I think I will end my movement here, and there I am allowed to draw an armor card because this is pretty much the same as the barracks. And here we have the silver blades. Again, we can use it to avoid taking a wound. That's basically the same for all of those armor cards, but I'm still allowed to may spend one destiny token when challenging an enemy to ignore an enemy special ability affecting the challenge until the challenge is completed. Yeah, okay, I guess. But what's really cool, I can replace my broken padded vest, which is definitely a good thing. As the Dagonet is not really good against witches, I think the queen will move 1-2 spaces here to the hallway, and there she would have to engage one of those witches. Again, we are looking for 3 successes, and we are using the altruism ability. Yeah, that was close actually. 2 successes, 3 successes, so this witch is definitely dead. So let's put the token there, and I guess with the last 2 movement points I will move back to 1-2 Keep Birchy-like here, and I guess then we would have to fight again during the next turn, and this concludes the turn of Gwynevere. So let's do the movement. That's the only enemy on the board right now, and let's place the next despair token. And last but not least, we will move the key turn marker to Sir Dagonet, and hopefully he will make it here to the Keep Birchy-like. And yeah, this is now really some kind of a tricky situation, which I really don't get behind that. So I think I will have to ask that in the forum before I continue with my next episode, because she is now next to the witch. So is she now supposed to fight it, or what would happen if I would move Sir Dagonet down there? I really don't know who will then trigger the fight actually, because she's already there. If you know that, please let me know, and I will consider that during the recording of my next video. And I think I will end it here, and I really hope you're still enjoying my little playthrough of Albion's Legacy. I certainly do. Hope to see you in my next episode, and until then, bye bye.